All right, boys and girls, we are going to make our own Charles McGee sculpture. Yes, you heard me right, a sculpture out of things that you have from our art kit. So let's look at the things we're going to need today. Crayons, colored pencils, markers. This you'll need next week. I'm going to put this away in a safe place. You may want your pencil, eraser, and sharpener because sometimes that's handy. Now, we're not going to use the polar bear. What we are going to use is our construction paper. And more specifically, I need you to get 3 sheets of paper. One needs to be black. This is very important. Most of McGee's work is black and white. And I'm going to get 2 white pieces of construction paper. This is heavier than the polar bear sketchbook. This is heavy, thick paper. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it somewhere safe. I always put my materials somewhere safe. And this week we're going to focus on patterns. That's right, you heard me, patterns. Patterns, as we've learned today, are repeating lines, shapes, colors. All of those things make a pattern. Now, the first thing I'm going to do with my white piece of paper, I'm going to take my handy-dandy pencil, and it's very light, and I'm going to draw some sections, and you can have the sections going any way you want. It's your artwork, okay? Then, there's only one color that we're going to use, black. So, take my black marker out. You could use a black pencil, or you could use a black crayon. These are options that we have. So on this paper, I'm going to make polka dots. And I'm going to do this very carefully. And I'm going to repeat those dots. And I might actually do this without having other paper underneath it, just in case the marker bleeds through. So very carefully, I am putting polka dots down. Polka dots are a favorite of Charles McGee. He used a lot of polka dots. He used big polka dots. Now, these are very large polka dots. You could make them even larger, or you could do teeny tiny. Now, notice I use the side of my marker. You do not want to crush the tip of your marker. Unfortunately, if you ruin this marker, there are no more markers for you. We are out of kits. Some teachers still have some for extra students in case they get a new one, but pretty much if you got a kit, that's it. You're not getting any more. Your grown-ups probably going to have to purchase a marker or something for you. So I did that. Let's do some lines. Now you may want to do some thin lines, and it's really easy to do nice thin lines using my pencil. Now I'm going to start with straight lines because that's what I feel like doing. So when we use different media, that's what these things are. Markers, pencils, paper, these are all media. Media is what you buy at the store in order to make art. You could do computer art. Some people like to paint. Some people like to use clay or plaster, cardboard. All of those things work. Okay, so we have 3 patterns. Maybe I'll do some thick, wavy lines. Now, you know Miss M is a little crazy. And when she wants thick lines with her crayon, she uses the back of the crayon. So I'm already peeling paper off of the back of the crayon, and now I can make wavy lines. I love wavy lines, and I can go over those wavy lines and make them super thick. So I might go over them once, and then I might go back and make those lines thicker. Oops. Oh well, that's okay. Sometimes when I press really hard, and I bet this has happened to you too, I break the crayon. But it's okay because the crayon is still good. Hopefully you have like a handy dandy crayon box to keep it in. Now, you might think that's pretty cool, Miss M. So I have 3 different patterns. I'm going to continue to make patterns on the back side of my paper. Boys and girls, here it is. 2 sides of this paper have patterns. Now the patterns don't have to be exactly the same, and you're going to see where this is going to come into play. So I have a whole nother sheet of white paper. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to do more patterns. And you don't have to divide the paper up the same way, and you can do some different patterns. Perhaps you want to do some stuff that looks like, he would do these things where he would do like these organic type shapes, like an oval, and he'd fill them with dots. They're pretty cool, right? He did a multitude. So I'm going to continue to make all kinds of shapes using, not shapes, all kinds of patterns using lines, shapes, lines and shapes, basically. That both sides of the paper are filled with patterns, but not necessarily the same one. And notice that the only color I use to make the pattern is black. Now, we also have a black sheet of paper. You are going to use, you can use a white crayon. I have this instead. This is actually a color stick. Oh, this is my favorite. You could use, which color stick, as we all know, is actually the white, the inside of a color pencil. I'm going to use the color stick instead of the color pencil for 2 reasons. One, I would have to sharpen this like over and over and over again. 2, this one's a little darker. If you have a white crayon, because remember I originally told you boys and girls, it might be a good idea to and you can make all kinds of patterns. It would probably be a good idea for you to get a white crayon. They're not hard to do. So if you have like a Crayola set of crayons from another teacher, perhaps you want to use that. I'm going to finish doing both sides of this black paper, and then we'll be done. All right, so here we go. As of today, I have patterns and patterns made with shapes and lines using black on white on 2 sheets of paper on both sides. You're going to see this is going to come in handy later. And then on 1 black sheet of paper, again on both sides. Now, these papers, you're going to save them for next week. So what I'm going to do right now, first, I am going to put away my materials. So my crayon goes back in my crayon box. Miss M's got to get a better crayon holder. This is not going to work out. I'm going to put my colored pencils away. Remember, I had a black and a white one. So I'm going to put them back into the box. Again, I may look into a different holder. I'm not terribly excited about this. And the boxes after a while, I mean, they're okay. If that's all you have and you're taking good care of them, they should last until the end of the year. I do a lot more work than you do because I do extra assignments. Like I do the assignments for everybody. So there you go. All my pencils go back. Close that up. So this is safe. And let's not forget our marker goes back in the box. So some of my friends have, here's my pencil. Put that away. This I put back on my desk. So I'm going to put these papers. I have a folder that I keep all of my papers in. I'm going to put my papers in my folder for the week. So next week, when it's time for art, I open my folder and there is my work. So I'm going to put my things away. I know some of my friends have shelves, or they have shelves or boxes or bags that their materials go in. I would recommend keeping it all together. And next week we are going to finish our Charles McGee inspired paper sculpture using patterns of lines and shapes. And make sure you send me a picture of your pattern shapes too. So before you put it away in Seesaw, I want you to hold up your shapes. You can send me a video and tell me all about your work, what kind of lines you used, what kind of shapes you used, or you can just send me a photograph. Both are A-okay. Send it in to Miss M. I always love to see your work, and I will see you next week.